right, One Dime Blues, classic tune by Etta Baker. I think a lot of people didn't really become aware of this song until she started getting some attention, like from PBS and different, I guess, Smithsonian and such in the 90s? I guess 90s, early 2000s. It actually showed up on a couple of older records. She recorded them in the 60s. There's an album out there, I think it was called Women of Folk Music or something. I don't know what label it was on, maybe Our Hooli or one of those, you know. So sort of an obscure kind of coffee house record, you know. You really wouldn't hear it unless you were really into folk music. But she was around for a long time. Etta Baker from North Carolina in the Morganton area. I got to know her in the 90s, learned from her. Wonderful lady, great guitar player, great banjo player, great personality. She reminded me a lot of my great grandmother, so great in every way. And, really just a treat to get to be around her. And this is really one of her classic songs. And I'm going to break it down for you. It's not terribly difficult. It's only a two-chord song. You play E and A, essentially. Now, of course, there's also an E7 in there. So, but then, I mean, that's just dropping that one finger. You're going from, you know, no big deal. So, it starts out with this slide up and grab the, let's see, G string here and then the third string on the third fret as well. Like that. And slide them up to the fifth. All right. No, I'm sorry, slide them up to the fourth. Yeah, slide them up to the fourth fret and drop your first finger down there on the fifth string, second fret. So, and normally you want to hit the open E string as you slide up. That really gives you the sound of an E chord. So just take your middle finger and your thumb, if that's comfortable to you, and just pinch the top first string and sixth string at the same time as you slide up. And so drop your first finger down there, and so the next bass note you hit is that. It's not that difficult, really. It takes just a little, you got to get the rhythm right. And then, and Miss Baker had a unique sense of rhythm. It was a lot like kind of John Hurt. In that she would throw in some extra notes that you weren't expecting sometimes. You were thinking you were playing like a straight rhythm, and suddenly it was a syncopated rhythm. And that's what makes this style of blues challenging and interesting, even when it's a very simple song like this one. So, all right, and then we'll shift over. And she liked to use some kind of weird sounding chords sometimes. You've got your, let's see. Yeah. So we're just going to move these two fingers over. What? Two strings. So now we're on the, third string, fourth fret, and fifth string, fourth fret, and dropping the first finger down here on the second fret of the first string. So it really, this chord shape just reversed itself. That's all there is to it. And it isn't, if you play it on its own, it's an odd sounding chord, right? But in the context of the song, it works. All right, hammer on into your E major, just dropping the first finger here on the fourth string, first fret, just hammer on there as you go to it. So I always just pick up with that. And then we're gonna go to an open A position with just two fingers. So that's second string, second fret, third string, second fret, and hammer on that. Play the E string open. And that's sort of indicative of what I was saying about that rhythmic thing. You've hammered your open. Get that little extra beat in there. time. All right, that's the basic. That's the heart of the song. Get that down. Then we have just little variations. So the next time through, instead of going up here, take 2 fingers and go. So 2nd string, 5th fret, 1st string, 4th fret. This is an E major chord, this D position E major chord, but you're only playing 2 notes of it. Now, I can't remember if that's the exact rhythm she played, but it was something like that. Back to the A. So that's your 2nd time through. Now there's a 3rd time through, which sounds so much fancier than it really is. Go right back to that. And then go. All right. Simple. We're going from that E, partial E chord here, to now we're at we've got our, I don't even really know what chord that is. Actually, probably, well, it doesn't really matter. So we've got our 1st string here on the 5th fret and 2nd string on the 7th fret, 9th fret and 7th fret. All right, and you can land on the E or you can go straight to the A. It just kind of really depends on how, well, it depends on how fast you're picking those notes. So, and that's it. Yeah, it's really that simple. But yeah, it's a rhythmic song, and that's the main point of it, is getting that good rhythm, keeping it driving. Even if you miss a note, make a mistake, just keep that and keep that. It's almost like a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. But then, like I said, she would also throw a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 sometimes. But as always, you know, it's just like Mike Bloomfield said, if you like these blues, take them and make them yours. Take them home and play them and turn them into your own versions and tunes. That's the great thing about the old blues pickers. They never really played the same thing the same way twice. I mean, when you hear on a record someone playing something, you know, you learn to play it note for note. They didn't really do that. And, you know, getting to know a lot of them in person, it was really very interesting oftentimes how very different they sounded in person than on the record, especially if there had been a 30 or 40 year gap between recording that tune and they had been playing it and just, you know, adapting as they went for years and years after that. So anyway, y'all have a good one. Remember, email me if you have any questions. And I'm going to try to see if I can do a mandolin version of the same tune next. So stay tuned for that, and I'll talk to you next time.